night and the Gemini crew.
Good evening, good morning, good night. We're watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, bringing you another adventurous and interesting episode of Mike in the Night. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Good day, mates. John D, probably from Australia, with that good day, mate. And Lord Humungus, who's praying for my dad. Thank you. Sulla Dexter. Lots of cool people in the comments already. We haven't been 2 minutes in the stream, and we've already got quite a few people here. Yep, that's Kazabel Snowdown from Australia. Hope everyone's having a great day, morning, evening, night, wherever you may be. It is Mike in the Night, and it is night here, broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia. And tonight I want to have a very special episode, and I want you guys in the comments, over time, you don't have to go crazy in the comments, because the comments move pretty fast. Today's episode is going to be what went wrong. Where did it all go wrong? What was the key pinnacle event in your mind that changed history, or one of the biggest key events in the last 20, 30 years that we've been around, so we could actually discuss what we remember from those times? What was the big key event that changed us? You know what I'm saying? Okay, guys, lots of people here. LA in the house, sup Mike, Veg the man. Thinking of your father, keeping your family in my prayers. Thank you so much. That's why I love you guys so much, man. I'm always going to be here for you guys, no matter what, because you're here for me. Wow, it's not even 9 p.m. my time. I totally kind of, didn't see the time. I just started streaming. I didn't even look at it. It was 9 o'clock yet. So we got a few minutes here until 9 o'clock. 1971 next gold standard. Yeah, that's a good one. Internet changed the world for better and worst. Somebody's saying mine 11. I'm not going to say the number because it might just flag my whole video. Yeah, lots going on here in the comments. So guys, events that changed the world. What, in your opinion, is the key pinnacle event that warped us or took us into bad standings? Is it the banking system? Is it the oligarchs? Is it the New World Order? What is happening? What is your opinion on this? Was it the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy? Was it the impeachment of Richard Milhouse Nixon? Was it the Vietnam War? Was it there's so many things, right? Was it the invention of the automobile? Someone saying colonialism. So Living the Dream says, you are one of the rarest persons on YouTube that really care about people. If I ever pass by Merritt, I definitely stop by and say hi. Yeah, for sure, guys. Always available. And I'm starting a new series. I wanted to get the trailer for the new series I'm going to be doing done for tonight to show you guys on Mike in the Night. So I didn't get it done. I watched a movie with the kids, and then I ended up watching the whole movie with them. Yeah, I kind of wanted to show tonight, but that's okay. I'll do it for Trends in the Housing Market. I'll keep pumping out the trailer of a new series I'm going to start. It's so good. I hope you guys are going to like it. It's a good one. It's going to be a good series. I promise you that. Mikey looking like the boss in the black shirt. Yeah, thanks, guys. Okay, here it is. Some channel news, guys. Disappearing middle class from last week, Mike in the Night. If you want to join us, or you want to kind of backtrack on some shows, I want to thank. There's at least 5 or 6 truck drivers that I've spoken to in the last 2 months that play, or they have YouTube Prime and just download Mike in the Night and listen to it while they're driving. I want to thank these drivers, the truck drivers that are actually have Mike in the Night playing in the background. This is out for you guys that are doing long hauls, short hauls, deliveries that have Mike in the Night on. And last week before that was Mike in the Night Tariff Wars, Mike in the Night's The Death of the Pension, Mike in the Night's Is Marriage Dead, and then Mike in the Night Your Story, and Mike in the Night the Australia Darwin unloading that whole new system of social credit scores. Trends in the Housing Market, guys. Trends in the Housing Market Night Flight was an amazing episode. It's 2 hours long. If you missed Trends in the Housing Market, it is on my channel. Morning Coffee with Mike. It's becoming a thing, guys. A lot of people are watching that, so it's becoming a thing. So I'm going to keep it going. And what else we got going on? Yeah, that's about it right now. That's new and groovy on the Mike Martin's channel. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Minds. Minds.com, guys. I am on here, and if you donate me a token, it's like a crypto. You get tokens in this channel or this Facebook type thing, like cryptocurrency. And what they do is they actually pay you out in tokens, free they give you tokens for views and stuff on your stuff. And then if you donate a token to me, I'll do a shout out on Mike in the Night, and 3 tokens or over, a shout out on Mike in the Night, and a show on Trends in the Housing Market. 6 tokens and over, I'll read your story. So if it's a story on like in the media or something, I'll read it for you and give you my opinion on that. So my dad is sick, and I appreciate all the prayers, guys. I really appreciate you guys being there for me. I'm gonna go spend the entire day with him tomorrow. I'm also on Subscribestar. Thanks for joining me. I got a few people following me on this now, and I want to thank people for that. And I'm also on Patreon if you want to support. I got my 7 Patreons that joined the family. You could join the family, become a soldier. Caporogamis means captain, a consigliere, or an underboss. Join the family, guys. It's always good to be part of a family. Let's move on to a little bit of news from Zero Hedge before we get into the important stuff of the topic tonight that we got. I got a couple of encyclopedia pages open here, so we go over different times and years, so we could kind of discuss what you guys think was the pinnacle movement, the one event, in your opinion, that put us into this situation we're in today. Is it the banking? Is it the failure of marriages? Everyone's blaming marriages now. Is it someone said colonialism in the comments. I want to know what is the one key event in your opinion. So before we go there, let's hit a bit of news. Mysterious flying objects over Kansas turn out to be top secret DARPA experiment. Yeah, come on, guys. They're not going to tell you anything. Who the hell you think you are? You think they're going to go and tell you what's really happening? Trump ordered secret cyber attacks on Iran as an alternative to war Thursday night. Yeah, cyber attacks are pretty bad, guys, especially when they start hitting your infrastructure, electrical grids, water. Oof, it becomes a nightmare for a lot of people. And the problem with cyber attacks, it affects the day-to-day Joe Donuts. It's not the guys up top, because you got generators. It's, let's say they do something where they take out the power. Fine, they take out the power. But it's all the poor people in the middle class that don't have generators and backup generators and all this solar panel backup battery packs that are basically not going to suffer. The people that they want to suffer are going to be the people that they want to target with this won't be targeted. It's the people at the bottom, the poor people, the middle class. Okay, revolutionary weapon detected machine uses 3D radar AI to detect guns. China's aircraft carrier battle group emerges. It's been a long time in coming, but the Japanese reports on June 11 revealed that the Chinese Communist Party CCP and its People's Liberation Army have realized a long-held ambition to build and deploy aircraft carrier battle group. AI can be used to detect deep fakes for now. More than 90% accuracy. Fake meat. Big Food's attempt to further industrialize what we eat. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do an episode on that, guys. Quiz. 20th century history. How Trump outplayed Powell, and here's what happens during the next week's critical Trump-Xi meeting. And that's from today's date. And somebody finally cares about gold. And now it's at 1,400 an ounce and has been breached. There's plenty of room to run. So I've been talking about gold every morning on Morning Coffee with Mike and the intrinsic value and the importance of gold. Gold is to me is gold. Gold is gold, right? And it's a very good asset to hedge against inflation, but we got one teensy weensy problem. It's sluggish, heavy, and hard to barter with. Unless you trade in a gold bar for a Jeep or something, like, unless you get your value's worth, right? So that's what I kind of want to throw out there. So somebody finally cares about gold, and that's good. That's good to know, you know? And gold has got a lot more. It's at 1,400 an ounce US, so it's got a lot of room to move. Bitcoin is hitting fresh highs for the year too. We discussed that too on Morning Coffee with Mike. And no, don't sell your gold bar. Yeah, don't sell your gold bar, guys. Iran activated air defense in Syria after learning of U.S. attack report. Silicon Valley is destroying American democracy by playing political favorites. That's all news. Come heavily armed Oregon senator threatens violence as governor hunts down lawmakers. Wow. And he states, I'm not going to be a political prisoner in the state of Oregon. Okay, I'm going to reread that. Come heavily armed Oregon senator threatens violence as governor hunts down lawmakers. Wow. 4 reasons to oppose universal basic income. Well, I could tell you 5,000 reasons to oppose universal basic income. How can the economy both be booming and headed for a recession? Yeah, like I say, and I kept saying it on Morning Coffee with Mike. Guys, if the economy is doing well, why don't they just raise interest rate and get it over with? Start raising rates, start getting things. You know what I'm saying? Holy Max. Okay, the comments are going nuts so fast. Woo! Mike in the night. Okay, we covered enough news, I think in my opinion. And let's get on topic now. Let's discuss, the most important movements or moments or events or that's changed history or events in history. So let's look at historical events to give you guys an idea of what we're looking for. So these are historical, okay? The American Revolution. Obviously, founding fathers put in a Bill of Rights, put in the Declaration of Independence, and which was high treason at the time. And if we try to declare something like that today, I think it'd be shut down quick in a heartbeat and considered hate speech, right? And if it wasn't for this happening in 1776 and 1777, we'd be in a lot of trouble right now today. I don't even think I'd be born today. It would be all different. Our world would be different. You know what I'm saying? The Reformation, and that is the Roman Catholic took control of the Christian world, Roman Catholic Pope and all that stuff. And the Reformation, okay, we already said that. The life of Jesus of Nazareth, that was one pinnacle event on earth that changed human history and basically changed the whole path of humanity. And I am a Roman Catholic myself, so... then the tearing down the Berlin Wall was a major event. That's what I have my icon as there on our thing. Okay. And then we got World War II. World War II was very bad, but it also brought us out of a Great Depression. World War I was one of the major key events because that's where basically World War I was one of the biggest ones. World War I is around that time, 1914 to 1918, is when President Woodrow Wilson promised no war with Europe and then entered the war and basically carved up the Middle East, carved up the separation of Pakistan from India, the decline of the Portuguese Empire, everything was carved up. The entire planet was carved up. Income Tax Act was passed, and the charging labor on your charging tax on your labor, like a lot of things was passed, and joining the World Bank and the Allies or whatever they called it at the time. World War I was huge, one of the biggest bank wars you could ever imagine. The Gutenberg press, influential printing press, invented in the 1440s, sorry. Obviously, that made a huge change. The life of Muhammad, I guess the prophet that brought religion to the Middle East. And the Pax Romana, the period of relative peace in the Roman Empire for about 200 years. That was so special about this, besides the fact it was in peace, for the empire loved to fight, and in which bloodshed was part of daily life, that brought peace forth during that time. So that was a nice 200 years of peace. The Renaissance, of course. Oh, good old Shakespeare. So, there's lots of events. I just pulled up some of these events here, guys. I just threw this up there. And these are major events, historical. Now, let's get something more in tune. So, I got Info Please open here. We're starting from 1950 up. Major events in our lifetimes, or within our lifetimes, that we could relate to, that we could attest, or we could say that we have witnessed and we have been there. I have seen this with my own eyes. I am still alive to tell you this. Here we go. Then we got the 1960s to 69. We got U.S. breaks diplomatic relationships with Cuba. France and West Germany signed Treaty of Cooperation. 1964, Supreme Court rules congressional districts. 1965, Dr. Luther King marches 3 Apollo astronauts. 1967, North Korea seizes U.S. Navy ship Pueblo in 1968. Richard Milhouse Nixon is inaugurated 37th president, 1969. Which event in your period, in your opinion, do you think was one of the major events that basically turned the tide? All right. We got some people here on the sides here. I want to get the Raven on. I want to see how he's doing. Let me see if the Raven's watching the show tonight, if he's working on the yard. Let's see if he's available. I haven't talked to him in a while. I like to hear what he's up to. We got no audio here on here. Got my speakers up. Let me just go into really quickly here and go into settings here. I'm not sure when my audio's off. Okay, let's go to audio here, guys. Contacts, notifications, measure audio and video. Okay, we got the microphone here. We got the audio here. And speakers. Speakers are it's not picking up the speakers for some bizarro reason. La 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 la. Oh, it's plugged into the headphones. That's why. Okay. Okay, what do we have for speakers here? Speakers. Here we go. Boom. There we go. That's a test. All right. Okay, we got our audio working. Let's get the Raven on the phone here.
Hello.
Raven, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
It's going, brother. Are you super busy?
Well, I'm at work, but I got maybe 10 minutes.
Good. Pinnacle historical event, in your opinion, one event that has put us in this current situation.
I think it's like Supreme said there. It's a series of events. I don't think you can pin one event. Now, the creation of the Fed, maybe, if I had to choose.
That's a very good one. Tell us why.
Well, because that's pretty much the agreement between the banks to start this Ponzi scheme, to start this madness. So, 1913?
That
was created.
Yeah, that
on
was
Jekyll Island.
That was during World War II, World War I. Sorry, right after that whole Allies meeting when everybody was on Christmas vacation or something.
Yeah, that's when they passed it into law as the Federal Reserve. Yeah. A private entity doesn't have to show their books to the IRS. Go figure, right?
Right. So your opinion is the
creation of the Fed.
Yeah. And any event in your life that was a pinnacle event that you could tell us that was maybe something that's not too personal that maybe changed your life?
Stock market crash, 2008. I had the binders on. I didn't see it coming. They say when you're too close to a market, you fail to see its folly. I had the binders on. I didn't step up, turn around, and see a housing collapse coming. It probably cost me 150 large, and that little problem there. Yeah, that would have been the worst one for me. That woke me up. Then that's why I started reading, studying, and I'll tell you, once you learn if you spend say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, 7 days a week for say a decade, you're going to learn things about the way this world works. They're going to make you sick. You're going to be very angry. And you try and convey that to anybody out there, and they're going to look at you sideways like, what are you talking about? So you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Supreme knows. Probably everybody listening here has a pretty good idea. Yeah. And I'll tell you, look at the way that it's progressing in the last month. Like, look at the banks shutting down in China. Germany, Merkel, they're in trouble.
Deutsche Bank with their derivatives, their commodity-backed derivatives that they have, that the IOUs basically is what they are. They don't have,
Yeah.
What?
Deutsche Bank's the problem, but everything's a lie with those guys. They back it, they bail it out, they shuffle the paper, Deutsche Bank might even have gone under already. Who knows? They're just holding it there. It sure seems like they want to start some trouble in Iran. You know, when the war card starts coming like that, that I think that they're really like they're running out of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think they're running out of time. Look at gold moving. Why is silver not following gold? Why is silver not up another dollar or two from where it is?
Because you'll have a lot of silver stackers be rich overnight, and God forbid that happens. You know Supreme.
What? I think I think silver might be too important to them. Hey, the world doesn't go on without it. That's a key. It's the second most traded commodity in the world.
Yes,
it's in everything. You know, you have a real they're already having resource wars. You know, like look at China going into Africa, buying up. It's all going to be about what resources your country's got. If you don't got the resources, and look at the oil with the U.S., they want to throw a coup in Venezuela. You need the oil. Mm-hmm. You need the minerals. But that's silver.
And everyone's unpegging off the U.S. dollar. Russia and China are unpegging from the petrodollar.
Yeah, so everybody. Yeah, they're selling their treasuries
and buying gold. And they're buying gold.
Yeah, who's buying their debt? You know, I'm sure everybody's caught a few of those videos about the 21 trillion missing dollars. I think that's what they're living off right now. Mm-hmm. You know, who's buying their debt? They're getting desperate. Yeah. They're going to start doing things like flying drones into people's airspace. Did they even do that? I think they were trying for a little false flag, but they didn't quite get the reaction they needed, so they couldn't go ahead with it. What are they going to do next? You can see they're going to try and do something.
Oh, we covered it here on Zero Hedge. Actually discussed that. What I'm going to follow up what you just said here for people just tuning in that weren't here at the beginning. Trump ordered secret cyber attacks on Iran as an alternative to war Thursday night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where things look like they're headed, you know. So that's good. I appreciate the feedback and giving us your opinion on the creation of the Fed was a key point in history that actually put us in this current position that we are in right now.
You know what? It all leads back to the Fed. The Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944, Nixon taking us off the gold standard, August 15th, 1971. Everything links back to the Fed. It's the evil, rich European families that are running the world, and don't think they're not running China and Russia too. They're going to control you through fear. They have no choice but to control 7.5 billion people through fear. Yeah, it's all just a game how they're going to become rich and powerful and control the whole. I believe that they run China just as much as they run the U.S.
Yeah, no,
it's worth it.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a couple little holdouts, North Korea. Well, wherever there's not a Rothschild bank.
Cuba, I think Cuba, yeah. Venezuela.
They selected Trump years ago. And at the same time, you know what gets me, Mike, is they select Trump because Trump was selected. I don't care what anyone says. He was selected. He won the Electoral College. She won the popular vote. That was genius. Whoever figured that out was genius because that was the way that they could force Trump into the scene. Mm-hmm. But they selected Trump, and at the same time, they were having $100,000 a plate meal for Hillary Clinton's campaign. The Rothschilds, they held that dinner. What a bunch of bull! They've already selected Trump, but they're paying that money for those meals. Like, do you see this? The smoke and mirrors to throw this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. I see where you're getting at with that. So
suspicion on salaries are at $100,000 a plate. No, they selected Trump a long time ago. That's just for the.
But in all fairness, Supreme, I'm going to be really frank with you. Okay, I haven't met a single human being.
This is Raven. Supreme's not on yet.
What's that?
No, you called me Supreme.
Oh, Supreme. Sorry, Raven. Sorry, Raven.
At least you didn't make me follow him today.
Yeah. Okay. Raven. Hear me out, Raven. No, I just saw. I'm reading Supreme Canon's. I'm reading Supreme Canon's comments here, and the comments are on fire right now. Captain Nobody's asking if he's blocked. You're not blocked. There's no one. If you swear, guys, if you swear in the comments, it auto blocks you. It's not me. It's YouTube. Nobody panic. You know, if somebody swears in the comments, it just basically auto blocks it. That's all.
And Mike, look how fast they're purging YouTube and Facebook, eh?
Oh yeah, they're
Unbelievable.
moving like they're steamrolling over everything. They're just
They'll be
moving nice and fast.
Yeah, they'll be coming for you. Too many people waking up. Too many people talking about it. Gotta nip that in the bud. I think it's a little too late for them, though.
Well, a lot of people are kind of understanding what's going on too, right? I think there's quite a few people that I think there's quite a bit of people out there.
I think they're talking 100% rate cut for July in the States. Game's over, man. Game's over. You couldn't load your gun. You only got 2.25 bullets in your gun. Yeah, go to a gunfight with that. You're not 2.25%. We're lowering rates.
That's huge. That's just gonna basically rob everybody's futures for the next 100 years.
They're talking 6 rate cuts by the 2020 election. You know, it's the game's over, man. Game's over. It's like Steve the Plumber said. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. The show's coming. This ain't gonna go away. They're never gonna retire the debt. The debt's gonna just keep building. And hey, compound interest, most destructive force in the universe. It said Einstein. He's right. Anything that adds every other day.
Yeah, the mob isn't even that bad.
Yeah. Well, it is the mob.
Yeah. Well, no, the mob dresses better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting to watch. I watch it every day. Yeah. You know, what are they going to do? Look at gold. Watch gold. Gold's going to go for a ride.
Oh, it has to. There's nowhere else for it to go because it's scarce. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to go buy gold. I'm not going to invest in gold. Okay, you know what? I got a challenge for you. Go out and actually try to buy gold and see how hard it is to go out and buy.
Yeah.
You just can't go out and buy, oh, you can buy a gold bracelet. That means nothing. I'm talking about troy ounces of gold. 30
ounces of gold. I've been holding it for a while.
Yeah. Are you holding it for that big party we're going to have in Costa Rica?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to go to Costa Rica. I went to Dominican.
Yeah, I spent 6 months in Dominican Republic.
They're having a lot of murders there lately. 9 Americans have been killed there.
When? This year or this week?
Yeah, in the last year.
Oh, Christ.
9 Americans.
Well, luckily I speak Spanish and I'm not an American.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, Raven, I'm going to let you get back to work, okay, buddy? Raven, are you there, buddy?
You still there, Mike?
Yeah. I'm going to let you get back to work, here. Bud. You're cutting in and out. Get back to work and make some money.
I got 2 minutes to go outside and climb on a train. I'm heading west towards you, but I'm only going 150 miles. You know, we're still sitting with 100 guys laid off here.
Really?
Traffic is still down. Yeah. And you know what? Look at the Class 8 trucks that are not selling. Everything's going in the toilet. Just watch. Wait and watch. Next 2-3 weeks will be very interesting.
Wow.
Anyway, take care.
Stay out of trouble. Don't work too hard, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, right on. Talk to you later.
Bye. That was our man, the Raven, who is at work. He is working right now. And busy. Sorry, I'm closing the old settings here. Closing the old settings here. Sorry, gotta get out of the settings here from Skype. Okay, Pinnacle event. Come on, somebody hit me up in the comments. How did it get to this current situation? Was it the decentralization of we're taking off the gold standard? When Richard Milhouse Nixon took us off? Was it the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy? I think John Fitzgerald Kennedy plays a very key role in the decline of America. I think that November 22nd, 1963, I honestly think that's the day America died. November 22nd, 1963. Lord Humungus wants me to do the Truffle Shuffle. Yeah, guys, watch out for fake gold too, eh? If you buy gold bars on Amazon or be very careful. Watch some YouTube videos on people that bought gold bars online and actually dissected it, and it was like foiled or leafed gold. Be very careful, guys. Times reflects as gold is only a shiny metal. Produces why confidence No, it does not. Okay, what's going on here? Comments are moving pretty fast here. Okay, guys, so let's get back to... Oh, Abe Fields here. Hey, it's Mike in the Night. Good to be back. I am here, guys. I appreciate your prayers for my dad. I really appreciate that. People going out of their way to send me messages. Key pinnacle event. The key pinnacle event, in your opinion. The one event. The domino. It's always one domino that falls and everything coincides with that one domino. And I honestly think it's John Fitzgerald Kennedy's assassination, because he had a lot. He was gonna get rid of the Fed. He was gonna back the U.S. dollar with silver, and I think they had like the 5, or they had silver coins, actual coins. I believe that John Fitzgerald Kennedy had a plan to re-regulate America and put it back on track. He was there was a lot he had on his radar, and they had a lot of enemies too, right? So I think, yeah, that's for me. So a couple of people asked me, what do I think? I think it was November 22nd, 1963 was the death of America, and that brought the rest of the world into turmoil. Uh-oh. Charlie Brown saying, just in new news, one of India's biggest cities is out of water. What? Oh, we got I just banned a troll from the comment section there. Okay, Supreme Canon, Eve said, you gotta try this, babe. Yeah, okay. December 1913, yeah. JFK supported the silver standard. Yes, he did. He totally did. He totally did. Totally did. We're having internet issues here. It looks like my stream is going down here. It's moving. It's not moving at all. It says I'm offline. It's moving at a very slow rate. This always happens. I always get cut off, guys. No big deal. I'll just keep talking until I start seeing other things pop up here. Yeah, I'm back, guys. I'm back. It's moving. It's somewhat moving. I don't know what's going on. I think it's windy outside, right? And sometimes when my neighbor cuts the grass, my internet doesn't work right. So the creation of the corporation of the U.S. February 1871. That seems like a really good one. All right, let's get another caller in. Who wants to call? Lord Humungus, where are you, brother? Where are you? Let me see if I have you on Skype here. It'd be so nice to get you back on the show. One key pinnacle event from Lord Humungus. Where are you? I can't find you, Lord. There's almost 1,000 people here on my Skype. And I can't... No. Lord, you want to call me, buddy? Are you there? Come on, Lord. I'm having a really tough time. Guys, if you want to add me on Skype, here we go. Give me a one-liner, guys, on why you basically, why you're calling, or what you want to talk about on the show, or who you are, or what you want to add to the show. Because I get a lot of people wanting to add me to Skype, and I don't know who they are, because their handles don't match. Their Skype handles don't match their Skype handle doesn't match their YouTube handle. It's tough to know who it is. And I'm trying to... Here we go.
Mikey.
How are you, my cousin?
How are you, my compadre from the north?
I'm doing good, brother. Okay, key pinnacle event in your opinion, the one domino that really, really changed us and put us into this situation we are in today.
It's kind of hard to really think of one event. I think it's a bunch of events that kind of led up to everything.
But what's the biggest one? What's the one that lingers on the back of your mind? What's the one that keeps you up at night? What's the one that you wish never happened?
Sound money and the creation of credit, paper, derivatives, all that stuff.
Okay. Paper derivatives, like IOUs basically, right?
Yeah, it's all connected. Stocks, bonds, paper, mortgages. It's all means nothing if it ain't backed by sound money.
Yeah.
So when we got off of the gold standard in 1971, that was like an anchor, right? And before that, the silver standard was actually, a lot of people don't talk about that, but silver is a more precious commodity to me than gold is, really. So,
I honestly think, Lord, am I shooting darts in the dark, or trying to hit a bullseye in the dark by saying that there might be more gold out there than silver?
No, I don't think you're far off from the mark at all, because I know that to find quality ore, it's about the quality too, Mike. It's not just about a byproduct of silver. So they have to dig deeper to get the really good quality ore out. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
So they're digging like it's, they used to be able to dig down like a couple hundred feet or whatever and find a good quality. Now they're going 700, 800 feet down, and it costs more to mine 1 ounce of anything out of the ground. You got to look at it that way. So that's why you got to measure your wealth in ounces. That's why it's a weight of measure, right?
Troy ounce,
exactly. Not paper funny money.
Right. Okay. So now, explain to us the silver certificate backed, the silver backed certificates and the gold backed certificates that Deutsche Bank gave out to their investors, as opposed to giving them physical silver and gold. Now they're asking for their gold and silver physically, and Deutsche Bank is kind of flagging them away.
Well, of course, because they don't have it. Probably it's all part of the racket. I mean, there's so much suppression, bro. You can see in the stock market, J.P. Morgan's been suppressing the silver ETFs for decades now. 11 years?
Yeah.
Don't touch anything paper ETF as far as gold or silver. Always take physical delivery and protect it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it makes absolute perfect sense. So where do you see the paper-backed derivatives? What do you see happening? Who's going to call in these debts?
That's a time bomb. They're not going to be able to stop it, Mike. You can't pay a debt with a debt. If that makes that's all these derivative products are, man. Mortgages tied up by finance, as securities. It's a big mess, man. It's they're going to have to let the debt go at some point, because you have to have a positive and a negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense? We got too much of this negative crap, toxic junk floating around in the universe, and it's just going to have to be written away. I mean, that's just what's going to happen, or either that or they're going to start a war.
Mm-hmm.
And which I'm not for starting any more wars as an American. I'm tired of a war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I care about my Canadians, even Mexicans to the south and South Americans. It's like, I don't want open borders either, but it's just this whole identification. Tracking everything digital. It's too much.
Well, that would be the ultimate nail in our coffin, is when they decide to do this social credit score, and people will be disallowed to get on a plane or take a train because they spoke to somebody on the street that potentially is a threat.
Yeah. And people look at digital currency like it means something. It doesn't mean anything. It's just it's hard to explain, but I know all the Bitcoin guys out there are all ecstatic that they saw it go up about 2,000 points on Friday or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, if you do not hold it in your hand, and when this thing comes down, there's going to be a lot of trouble, man.
Mm-hmm.
And just protect your family with food, water, the basics. I'm still semi-homeless, fighting with my diabetes. I'm praying for your dad in the hospital, and I know, man, when you get older, it gets harder.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to pray for my dad. That's really important. I'm going to spend the day with him tomorrow, and it's a big deal. He's going through a tough time right now, so I'm going to be there for him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm always praying for your family, bro. I want you to be, and you're a voice in the darkness, man.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously,
I really try so hard to be as vanilla as possible.
Right.
I really am, and I'm trying hard to do this. I'm trying to be as vanilla as possible. I'm trying hard to weather the trolls, And
yeah, it doesn't matter, Mikey. It's all a control grid, man. All communications. It's all they got us, man. So why hide anything?
Mm-hmm.
What I mean?
I wonder if Briggs keeps commenting about Bitcoin and low roller scratcher. I wonder if they bought any Bitcoin.
I've got a little bit. I mean, I've got like it in fractional, but I don't buy a lot of it because when this thing does come down, they'll just they'll pull the plug on it, man. Then what are you gonna have?
Yeah.
Oh, my Bitcoin's worth $100,000. Yeah, really? Where? And where are you gonna go? Where are the outlets to go use the Bitcoin at? I know they're trying to make some here and there and stuff, and some states here have even started it as a new form of currency. But currency is nothing but a promise, dude.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, all currencies, I don't care what country it's at, paper promises, IOUs, it's all part of the Ponzi. That's how they control us all, man, the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all about freedom, okay? As an American, freedom comes first before anything else.
That's correct.
Because without freedom, you don't have anything. And time is your most precious resource.
Yeah. That's true. That's so true. You touched the spot in my heart, my friend.
That's all I do is tell the truth, bro. That's what gets me in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the truth always gets you in trouble. That's the problem.
Right? Because we live in a world full of lies and liars, bro, and they control it all, man.
Yeah.
They don't tell the truth.
And that's tough. It's tough, I've been going through a pretty tough time last, my dad came to visit here, and he came to spend some time with us, and he ended up getting sick he's far from home, right?
Yep.
And that's pretty tough, and I almost feel like I kind of told him to come down and spend time with us, and I almost feel like it's my fault,
Yeah, but you can't blame yourself. Your dad's lived his life. My dad died very young too, but I think your dad's going to be okay. Because I'm praying against that cancer in the liver.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate that.
What else was I going to tell you though? Yeah, I like all you got to get Supreme to call in. I always enjoy listening to his perspective. I think we share a lot of the same.
Of course, I'm going to get Supreme to call in. He's like,
yeah,
I got to make sure he warms up his internet, and
right.
I want to make sure he warms up his stuff. I need him to make sure he warms up his computer, warms up everything.
If you could do me a favor too, Mikey, if you could actually pray for my family, because my mom, she's working hard. She's 69.
Oh.
And they live out in LA, and my brother just lost his job out there.
Oh, Christ. Well,
yeah,
why don't they move? Why don't they go a little bit east? Why don't they go east?
Everybody's moving east, bro. I'm telling you, man, this cannot be stopped. LA is going to be a toilet, dude, by the time it already is a toilet. But I'm saying San Francisco, the whole West Coast, man, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Store up on supplies and get out while you can. But I see it all coming down, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I got friends and family that I grew up there. You know what I mean? Like I got out in 2006, but it's affecting everywhere. It's affecting every major metro area in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Look at New York.
It's did you see trends in the housing market on Wednesday with the amount of homelessness in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I was on that show. I was moderating on your show.
Yeah, it was like 36. It was at 26,000 in Los Angeles and 52,000 in LA County. And then the lady on the news says, "Well, San Francisco only has 22,000 homeless."
Yeah, no, but it's 59,000, and you can never trust by their numbers. I'm sure it's probably double or triple that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they always go very like lowball when it comes to giving these numbers, especially if it hurts, right?
right.
It's like our
You're right on.
GDP. They always want to make our GDP look like
Oh, 3.2 is greatest economy ever. Yeah, right. Come on,
yeah.
right,
Yeah, bruh.
bruh. I mean, come on,
Bruh,
really?
come on, bruh.
Just like when they report the unemployment numbers too, right? They go by the U3 number, not the U6 number, the real number.
Yeah.
They got the data, dude. They sugarcoat it all, man.
Well,
I'm telling you, America.
they always do it. They always do it when they always do it. They do it in a way where the people that are self-employed never count.
Oh yeah.
So when they do that, that skews the numbers horrendously, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
But if you worked one day, they'll consider you employed fully, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's a joke, man. It's a joke. It's all a joke, man.
Captain
And
Nobody in the comments is saying stockpile food, put a garden in, and get water now.
Yep, I agree. Ammo, guns. Well, at least down here in the States, but yeah, get your preps ready, man. I do have my silver and my gold. I don't go crazy on it. You know, I bought it a while back when I could afford it, but now I'm in a bad situation myself, man. You know, I got this diabetes and the neuropathy, and I'm just hanging here in Denver. You know, my wife. You know the story about my wife and everything.
Yes, you gave us a very good story during for MGTOWN episode.
Yeah, she ended up cheating with this ass that I knew for like a year. He was an ex LAPD cop. And I found out, you know, that they worked together basically, right? That's why she wanted the divorce so quickly and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she left me. She left me out in the snow to die, basically. You know, knowing my condition and stuff. So
that's pretty harsh, buddy. But Lord, I know you own your land. I know you got some Bitcoin. I know you got a little bit of gold and a pager. So you're doing okay.
Little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, I'm just worried about the food crisis, man. I hope that you know, with all the devastation, you know, that we're able to get the crops going. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, you heard about all the flooding, right?
About who?
All the flooding in the Midwest and stuff. We're getting hit by storms all the time.
Big time. And that's gonna affect the breadbasket there, and it's gonna be a little bit of a trouble this summer to feed the masses when it comes winter, right?
Yeah, it hasn't stopped either, bro. It's been raining here all day and all night here in Denver,
and
that rolls right over the plains where all those crops are.
Yep.
So,
okay.
All right, my brother.
Well, Lord Humungus, I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time and praying for my dad and all, and taking the time to come out on the show here on Mike of the Night.
Amen. God bless you.
You have a good night, and keep us updated on anything.
All right, brother. Will do.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's Lord Humungus from the Humungus land in Denver, outside of Denver, Colorado, giving us an update on what is happening in his neck of the woods. But his event that changed our current situation, or the main event that happened to him, is derivatives. The quadrillion dollars in derivative IOUs that are floating out there. Yeah. So I'm getting bombarded here by there's a couple of trolls out there. So I'm not gonna feed the trolls anymore. I'm done with it. Trolls can go straight to hell. I'm not gonna waste any more airtime on my show with these trolls. They could go straight to hell, for all I care. They got nothing better on their time, nothing better to do with their time than just I gotta expose somebody. My job, or the next 3 months in a row, I'm gonna work on exposing somebody. It's like, move on, get a life. Yeah, move on, get a life, please. I'm moving on, and you know what? I don't care. You want to post my address on YouTube? Go ahead. And if I really did something to somebody and they want to come and find me, it's not hard to find me in Merritt. All you have to do is go 411 reverse and not look up Mike Martins. It's not that hard. You know, there's so much going on, and now I'm getting told I just want to move on, and I want to bring my channel to a different light. I got a new series coming up, guys. I got this new series coming up, man. It's going to be so good. I think some of you guys know what it's about already, because you know what industry I'm in, and I kind of want to put this out there. I'm going to do a new series. I've been working. I don't have it yet. I don't even have it rendered yet. All right, I'll do a trailer. I'll do a trailer through the week to show you guys what I got going on. Abe Field saying, you and your family are in our prayers. Thank you so much. Amen, brother. And Mr. Roboto saying, Mikey, I hope Rosie's not too stressed out. No, man. Laughing. Yeah, no stolen hair from Mike. I do actually have hair. I just don't grow it out. You know, it looks like a Q-tip when I grow it out. Yeah, keyboard warriors. People need to find a hobby or something instead of, ooh, this guy lied. So I went to the bathroom an hour ago. Who cares? Yeah, anyways. I know you guys are there with me, and I know you guys have my back. That's all that matters. You got this three-ring circus of guys who think they know everything, and why don't they just do what they got to do and just do your own thing? You know, stop raining on everyone else's parade. Yeah, okay, let's get on to... we got Charlie Brown, and we got Leaf. We got lots of people. We got... Supreme Canon. We got all kinds of people here we could bring on the show tonight. Okay, let's do a 10-minute plug with Charlie Brown. He said he's back. He's in Australia. Let's find out.
Yo, who's this?
How are you, my brother?
Not too bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted with the comments tonight. I'm getting bombarded with a lot of trolls tonight.
Yeah, I see that. I blocked a couple for you.
Yeah, these people really need to invent a longer lasting light bulb or find or create something with cold fusion and get cars to run off water or something.
They've got the technology to go from water to
I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about the technology we have now. Anyways. Okay, Charlie, what's the news, buddy? Okay, before we start, what is the #1 pinnacle event, the first domino to fall when that changed or put us in the position we are in today?
I think a lot's changed since the 70s. I mean, the whole free love movement back in the 50s and 60s was a method, I think, to remove accountability for people having sex and getting married. So I really believe in people can disagree, but there was a organized plan from the 50s to destroy Western society and marriage and the whole Western system. And you see it's Western marriage is now destroyed. You've got the courts so corrupt, it's not joking. The police are corrupt. Almost every single component of the Western society system is falling apart. No one trusts the news. No one trusts government. No one trusts the cops. No one trusts the courts. Family courts are so much of a joke. It's not funny. They've removed all accountability for the government, the police, the courts. The only people in society now that are accountable are men. Literally, Western men are the only ones held accountable anymore.
Yeah, we've been playing the deduction. We've been playing the deduction game for the last
30
quarter
years
of the century.
Yeah, and you even see it in farming. There's more stuff coming out now that the GMO stuff, and they're trying to add paywalls between the farmers getting seeds. So, and there was a thing recently released by one of the politicians in Australia that back in the 70s, they deliberately decreased local manufacturing by 30%. and that tied back into the UN. It's like there's been a conceded effort to remove nationalism, remove marriage, and remove the value of your society, and try to push this open borders, globalism, free trade. And the thing is, free trade just hasn't worked. Like the Australian government used to own so many companies that earned them free money. They used to own the power grid. They used to own the phone company. They used to own the post office. They used to own even a shopping center. And like everything that basically, got them free money instead of taxing to the max, they sold off. And then in 2010, it was found out that we had no national debt in Australia. And from 2010 to 2019, we now have 150 years of debt. And the thing that annoys me is this: it doesn't matter what major party we have in Australia or the West. They're all left-wing governments now. Australia, Canada, UK, and I don't see anyone in America besides Trump actually being right-wing or standing up against the left as well. It seems conservatism has pretty much died in the West because they're not conserving anything. We don't have anything in the West anymore. We're literally on a tipping point where every single part, like every single module of Western society is at a breaking point under the corruption and the intentional destruction of it.
And what year did you say this pattern started to emerge?
I think it was from the 50s. They did it with like the free love. And then the 70s was the introduction of feminism, and feminism added the Duluth model. And the Duluth model was that you no longer hold every single person accountable as an individual to the same exact standard. It then went, women get a different standard, and then later on, the diversity added black people get a different standard, and then later on, it was the ethnic people coming into the country get a different standard. We've always had like rich people justice. Mm-hmm. With like, buying expensive, not judges, lawyers. But what's one of the modules I've seen in just going down and down and down is different people get treated differently. Like so many times over the last 5 to 10 years, I've seen women will be a teacher and they'll rape a kid, and they'll still be a teacher.
Yeah, and yet we're getting to that. I'm noticing that in our legal system, that our justice system, that what's justice anymore? Like who, you know what I'm saying?
It's a fucking joke. I mean, as I was saying, like the only people that are held accountable in justice anymore is non-rich, non-left Western males. Mm-hmm. Like women constantly get a free pussy pass in life all the fucking time.
Hey, whoa. Don't swear. No F-bombs, please. I don't want to get this flagged.
And, like, we can't, like, also in our society now, in the last 10 years, I don't think we can keep going with 4 cultures in one country. Like, in all the Western countries, Australia, Canada, whatever, we have 4 cultures. We've got Western socialism, Western democracy, Islam, and then all the immigrants.
Okay.
We all have different values. We all have a different system. They all get treated differently in the law. So this is all going to come apart. Like, we just can't keep going like this.
Right.
Like, I think it's either going to be people will self-segregate and move away from the cities.
Right.
Or we'll end up to a situation that it'll be the people versus the government. Mm-hmm. And World War III won't be with Iran or the Middle East. World War III will be a civilian war, the people versus the left.
Yes.
It will be a right versus the left, and the left will be the feminists, the LGBT, the fake trans, Islam, all the people in power. It will literally be that. Like, I think we are getting to a point that people are sick and tired of the broken system, and we keep on voting, we keep on paying more taxes, nothing gets done. None of them are held accountable, even Trump. Trump has not held any of these corrupt people accountable for the last 2-3 years, and people are losing patience. We're not getting to violence yet, But I can see it in Victoria. Victoria is following the same mistakes that California is following. And South Africans are like destroying property, destroying businesses, robbing businesses, stabbing people, and then not arrested. And it'll get to a point before 2025 that people will like, we're paying taxes, the government aren't listening, the police refuse to do the job, the court isn't doing their job. Fuck it. We will do their job.
Yes. Yes. All right. That was a good point.
And no one on the right, no matter what country in the West, has the stones to stand up and kick out the whole left. Because I think this is the only way the West can survive. You need to kick out the left.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot have a country with Western socialism and Western democracy. It hasn't worked in the last 30 years in Australia. It's not working in Canada or UK or New Zealand or anyway. We're now countries of multiple cultures and multiple government. That just doesn't work.
Layers. The layers of government. The layers of government are holding us back. Massive layers of government.
And you see it in the last couple of years. Like, they keep on blocking. They want everyone in the system. You've got to stay in the system. You can't go away from marriage. You can't go away from the banking system. You can't go away from loans. You know, everything that comes along, like Airbnb. No, we don't want that. We'll stop that. You know, virtual currency comes along. No, we'll stop that. Oh, here's a good one. You know, we'll government fund Facebook, which has been corrupt and found multiple times leaking private data.
Mm-hmm. And selling
breaking
data.
the law multiple times, selling data. And it's like, oh, well, should we arrest him? No. We'll give him a grant and give a multinational company the right to have a government-backed currency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're right.
It's just the scope of it is so big. It's hard not to believe this was all planned back in the 50s or even before.
Yeah. Okay.
And just the other day, I was actually reading, just before you go, the Australian gold mines are now all closing up.
Yep, I actually looked at that. I read 2 articles on that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, are there even Australian hires working there? I heard they were all Chinese.
You know, it's like I saw a huge property in Northern Territory got sold to someone in the Middle East. Apparently, some of the water infrastructure in Australia is owned by China.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're the only country in the West that gives our government infrastructure to China.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think
what you should do is maybe go on the ground. You don't have to show yourself, but maybe go to that airstrip in the middle of the country where Australians are not allowed to go to.
Yeah, there was a few areas in Australia that's American owned as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm talking about that airstrip that's owned by China in the middle of Australia.
Yeah, no, that'd be like 400, 500 Ks for me.
Oh, okay. Then we're going to have to top you up with a lot of beer.
Excellent.
Anyways, okay, Charlie, thank you so much for your input. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just recommend everyone stock up with a month's worth supply of food that doesn't need the fridge.
That's a really good episode we did there of survival of the fittest.
Get some basic medicine on hand, because the way all the West is going, it can only go tits up. Like, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I hear you. Okay, Charlie Brown, thanks.
With your family in the hospital as well, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, brother. You have a good night, okay?
All the best.
Okay. That's Charlie Brown from Australia, giving us his input on what he thinks is happening, or why he thinks the pinnacle turning point. What was the major turning point? All right, we're going to get Supreme Canon on.
Hello.
Oh my God, I could hear you on the first time.
Hey, I saw it blinking on my toolbar there. You called me already. Were you just teeing me up, or you waiting for Charlie to be done there?
Yeah, no, well, I got Charlie on, gave him his plug on what he thinks. So we got some interesting ones. We got Raven on saying that the Fed was one of the biggest one of the biggest events that, or key events that basically declined humanity, or brought us into this position we're in today, whether it's debt, whether it's whatever we're in now today, and wars and stuff. It all links together. But Supreme, in your opinion, what is the key movement or key event that has put us in this position or this predicament that we are in today? What's the first domino to fall?
The first domino to me, you go back to, I would go back to, I would say, the Age of Enlightenment. I would say in the late 1700s, and that seems a little strange, but I'll tell you why. I've seen mention of the Federal Reserve. I've seen mention of the Great War, World War I, World War II, Joseph Stalin, the Bolshevik Revolution.
Yeah.
But just about all of those things. And the trouble is you try to find one event, and every one of them has events leading up to them. But if we're going to look at modern history, you go back to the late 1700s. You go back to the time of Voltaire and Rousseau. You get to the people who were talking about the rights of man, and they were talking about secularism and human potential and humanism, basically. And what this did, and it certainly wasn't all bad, right? Because there was a lot of, strange customs and traditions and things like that. But what it basically did is it began to plant the seed in people's minds that you could literally redesign everything about human beings and it would work just fine. It began probably with the French Revolution. I mean, the American Revolution happened before that, obviously. And some people would say, well, that was just a Masonic conspiracy. In some ways, it was that too. But at least it started out right. It started out, and they designed it pretty well. Yeah, but the French Revolution, which led to that mass bloodshed, and then it led to the rise of Napoleon, and then you had 20 years of the Napoleonic Wars. And the disruption of the old established monarchies in Europe, and then once Napoleon was put away to St. Helena and that all kind of settled down, well, then you began to have these eruptions of nationalism. And I don't think nationalism in and of itself is a terrible thing. But of course, when you're talking about Europe, you're talking about these little nations that have been constantly jostling with each other for centuries before that, fighting for territory and everything else. And it began to arise, and at the same time, you had the Bank of England in 1694. You had this access to capital that they didn't have before, and they began to just spread out, colonize the world. The big race for colonies was already underway by that time. The Industrial Revolution, of course, the upheavals that came from that, it began to put purchasing power into the hands of the average person. It probably did away with feudalism in most of Europe. Russia was the last one to abandon it in the late 1800s, but a lot of that was because of this fervent of ideas. But it was everything. It was the rights of the common man. It was the obligation of the ruling classes to the lower classes in society. There's always an elite. You're never going to get rid of them. Which led to, then that led to the Great War. Right, World War I, which was Europe was a powder keg in 1914. Everyone was basically begging for something to happen by that point, and they certainly, once they lit the fuse, they had no idea what was going to happen, and everybody got an unpleasant surprise.
But
about
hold
modern
on, stop
war.
1 sec.
Okay, go ahead.
World War I.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the divide and conquer war, bankers' war. Let's implement all these laws and let's divide countries. Let's separate India from Pakistan. Let's separate Kuwait from Iraq. Let's separate, that's when let's decentral or destroy the Portuguese Empire. Lots of things happened.
Well, most of that happened. Most of that happened actually after World War II, Mike. But World War II arose out of the Great War too. Basically, it was just a 20-year armistice between the two. It was basically the same war. I'm seeing Time to Reflect. He's mentioned Joseph Stalin several times. What happened is the Bolshevik Revolution made it possible for someone like Joseph Stalin to get a hold of a massive empire and to impose his own ideology on it. This is something that the last time that you saw anything like it was probably Napoleon, when he invented like an entire system of governance and then began to spread it all over Europe. And just like the Napoleonic Code began to, and the rights of man and the other things they were attempting to spread with the French Revolution, you saw the same thing with the Russians, with the Comintern, the Communist International, trying to spread revolution all around the world after the Bolshevik Revolution. And then that created a lot of fear, and then you had fascism that rose as a reaction to that, basically, which is also a left-wing ideology, because it's called right or but it isn't. It still involves a massive intervention of the state into the economy, into the affairs of people. I mean, the further right you go into things like libertarianism, or you go into the kind of republicanism that the United States was initially founded on, where basically everybody was their own sovereign. They had their own little micro state called their private property. And the state was basically made so complex and so difficult and unwieldy to grow and to impose itself on people's lives that people could just live their own lives. I mean, you even had your own Ministry of Defense. Everyone could own their own firearms. You became as independent an agent as you could. But of course, people have to conduct themselves appropriately, and it was a much more homogenous population back then. It's pretty difficult to do in a more diverse state, or a state or an empire which controls a lot more different nationalities, like say Austria-Hungary or the Russian Empire or something like that, or the Ottoman Empire even. So I think this all has its roots in the Age of Enlightenment, secularism, and of course what's happened since World War II. Right, you had this modern welfare state, which kind of had its roots in the late 1800s too. Everything just kind of had gasoline poured on the fire after the World Wars, and it started to really take off. And then that led to basically it prepared the ground for the sexual revolution, the Great Society, this war on poverty. Which of course all those things led to the marriage breakdown. Section 8 in American inner cities, the breakdown of marriage. It's gotten to the point where it's become a complete free for all. Which, if you're a person that lives your life by some principles and some discipline, you can still have a pretty good life. But people aren't encouraged to do that anymore because they want you consuming and they want you stirred up. It seems that the more negative emotions you keep stirred up in people, it's actually better than keeping them stirred up positively. And this is actually part of the basis of social media. They come right out and say, well, we want people's cortisol stirred up. We want negative reactions. We get way more engagement from that than we do from positive ones.
Exactly.
And those are the things that make people abuse opioids, and that's what makes them go out and spend money they don't have and go out and have ill-advised, intimate relationships with people that they really shouldn't be going near. This has just kind of grown like sagebrush, especially in the last 50, 60 years. But most of the secularism that we have today and the downside of it kind of has its roots in the Age of Enlightenment. So, I'd put it around 1750, 1760, which is, a little over 200 years ago, but that's only 3 human lifespans. It's not that long ago.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
When you actually look in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
If you want to go really historical, I think one major event, if you don't want to go too far back, I honestly think the bubonic plague was one major event that changed human history.
Well, that's amazing that you brought that up, because that's been something I've been chewing on for a while. You think about Europe at that time. Europe was probably about 2,000 separate little jurisdictions, and it was all divided, and they were all squabbling with each other and constantly warring. And in the meantime, you had the Moors in Spain, and you had the Ottomans that had come up through Southeast Asia, and plus the Mongols by that time had just started to recede after overrunning Russia and just about all of Eastern Europe. And that's the area where the bubonic plague got into Europe. And like a third to a half of the population in some areas was dead inside of a year. And yet, after that, the labor supply was tightened. So it began to lead to the end of feudalism and serfdom. People weren't locked to the land anymore, because obviously if everybody in the Lord's Manor has died of the bubonic plague, well, you can stay there and farm till somebody else takes over, or you can go get a better deal somewhere else.
Right.
It actually created some labor mobility. This idea that population reduction in the Western world is going to lead to disaster, I'm not buying it. I think the only reason that they're bringing people in now is it's not even necessarily to replace the people that are there. It is because if you don't keep the numbers up, then you can't continue to stimulate your GDP numbers. It's just, again, it's that chart that you want going from lower left to upper right all the time. And the fact that most of the people being brought in are completely unsuitable to live in Western civilization, well, you know what? They're starting to acknowledge that too. I'm not completely sold that these people have every aspect of this figured out. I don't think they're as competent as if there were conspiracies, if there were people that came up with these long-term plans for world conquest or anything, they've been dead for a long time. We're dealing with second or third generation lackeys trying to run all this now, and most of them are actually pretty stupid. They're not really sure how to deal with this eruption of truth, if you will, that's coming out. So no, I think it's a war. I don't think it's inevitable. I don't think the outcome is inevitable. But to get back to the Black Death, we have.
Hello? We lost you, bud. We always lose him every once in a while. Hello? Supreme, you there, buddy? Supreme? Supreme? Look like we lost him. We got Nick in the comments saying, industrialization with steam caused migration to the cities. They need to support the Ponzi scheme. Of course, Ponzi scheme is about to implode. Not enough energy. Oh yeah, look at China. You know how much energy China needs to keep that red dragon fueled? Oof. China is one of the number one consuming nations on the planet. They consume more energy than, when you got 1 billion people, 1.8 or 1.7 billion people, guess what? That's a lot of food. That's a lot of fuel. That's a lot of gas. That's a lot of natural gas. That's a lot of coal. Yeah. And Briggs is saying the internet is changing things a bit. But yeah, there's pivotal events in history that I think the birth of Christ is one. I think the bubonic plague is a huge one. I think the Spanish influenza was a huge event that basically affected humanity in a way where completely changed everyone's futures or completely put everything down the drain. Oh God, I gotta wake up. We got Abfield saying, don't consume, buy unless you need it to fill your savings account. I'm trying to see why I'm getting such really poor connection. Connection's really bad, guys. I don't know why. Yeah, connection's pretty bad. I'm trying to keep this stream going, guys, for you guys. Oh, Purple Sky Awakening says, Mike, will you accept my invitation on Skype as G-Man? Okay, hold on a sec. Let me find you here. Purple Sky Awakening is saying, how can you let people call in if you don't let them in? No, it's not that. I just don't know. I got like I got 344 people that want to add me to Skype, almost 400. So I don't know who they, they're not telling me who they are, right? Let me see if I could find you. Message me again. I didn't block anybody, so I don't have anybody. Everybody's here. So I'm trying to find you here. And, see if I could find you here. You are, G-Man, right? Yeah. I remember seeing you in here, somewhere in here. There's so many names here. Holy crap. Thousands, man. It's probably almost 1,000 now. I think I just surpassed 1,000, to be honest with you. Let me see if I could search him. Eesh. Eesh. Alright, there's some G-men here, but these guys are not on my page. G-Man, go ahead and message me one more time, bud. See if I could catch you. I'm getting all kinds of different G-Mans on here. Yeah, there's just so many invitations here, so I'm not sure who. Oh, man. There's no way to sort this. Unfortunately, Skype doesn't give me the opportunity to sort this by I don't see. I can't. Yeah, this is a tough system to you just can't control F and find. That's the problem. That's the problem I have here. I'm not. There's just way too many people on here. It doesn't even let me search it by name. It just gives me recent chats, hidden chats, sort by time. Yeah, okay. So let me get a Supreme Canon back on, and I see if I could find G-Man here. It looks like he's back on.
Hello?
Yeah, you're there. Thank God.
Oh, good timing. I just rebooted. I swear to God, man, sometimes maybe 2 tin cans and a string would be better. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
This is tedious, yeah. Okay, did I interrupt you in the middle of something? I literally just rebooted here.
No, you didn't. I'm just trying to figure out how to find people on Skype, because the problem is I almost have 1,000 people on Skype.
Yeah.
And I'm having a really tough time just trying to find where people are, because there's just so many people. And I'm trying to break it down alphabetical, and it's not showing up either.
Oh, geez. Yeah, well, you put the word out there. People need to message you and tell you what their actual handle is in the comments.
Yeah, here. So this way I could find them better, right? And this way I'm not...
Yeah.
Because I'm running the show at the same time, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I can see the delay. I've got you up here, and you're talking, and I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Anyways, So Low Roller Scratcher. Yeah, so I'm going to just tell you straight up. I honestly think the biggest decline in recent history was, again, the assassination of JFK. He had a lot on his plate. He had a lot of projects he was working on.
Yeah.
And he was building confidence in the American people. And he really wanted to change things for America for the best. I believe in my heart of hearts that he really had the drive and the force for the people. He was one of the very few people's president, you know?
Oh, definitely. And I think when Eisenhower left and he gave a speech about humanity hanging on a cross of iron, the military-industrial complex, I think he had already seen, probably by the middle of World War II, where this was going. I think Patton did too, before he died or got whacked, whatever version people choose to believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, JFK was the first one, I think, that actually went up against the machine and found out that there was a machine. He had been in politics for a while. Obviously, he understood that there was a lot of corruption. I mean, I'm reasonably sure that people were, Washington was famous for its corruption. Hell, even places like Chicago and Detroit and Philadelphia were famous for corruption, even in the 1800s. So we're not really seeing anything new here. It seems like it's unprecedented to most people, but it really isn't. I mean, life was pretty dirty, and they played dirty, and they fought dirty. And yeah, JFK, he tried to use mass media to tell people something was going on, probably just to, a bit of a dog whistle to them, like, hello, I got a problem here, and I'm going to work on it. But then he got taken out, and of course they completely muddied the water. And by the late 60s, of course, the CIA had invented the terms conspiracy theory, just basically to preemptively shut down.
They spun the word conspiracy theory for people that were there, that told the truth and what they saw.
Yeah, anything you notice now is called a conspiracy theory. You can point it out all day long, and they just say it's a conspiracy theory. It's these linguistic kill shots. You say something, and they tell you, oh well, you're just a conspiracy theorist, or you're a right wing wacko, or you're this or that or the other, or you hate women, or you hate choose your group, right? Basically, the whole idea of it is they kick you in the shins, and you can't really do anything because they control the media, so they can just completely destroy your life if you don't shut up and start playing along. This is part of the problem with the swamp, this idea that Trump is up against. Everybody knows there's a swamp there. Good Lord. It's, that's just a way of putting it. I think Reagan was the first one to talk about draining the swamp, and being up to your armpits and alligators. There's definitely a problem, and there has been for a very long time. The thing about America is America used to have a lot of commonality, and the average person was fairly responsible and governed themselves, because you can't have a free country if you've got to constantly keep people under surveillance. Otherwise, you're going to have chaos. You're going to have something like Brazil. It's just going to be a mess. So people had to have at least a commonality in values, at least. But that was there's no money in that.
No,
so
obviously, it's
Yeah.
It's all about the almighty dollar, right?
Sure, it is. It's the conflict and the division. It's the stress, family breakdown. I mean, there's a documentary called Divorce Corp. In America alone, it's a $50 billion a year industry. The family that invented OxyContin. Hillbilly heroin. I mean, they design these chemicals in labs to basically run a 4-lane highway down through the middle of your brain and keep you hooked on the stuff. I mean, it's just repeat business, right? It's like selling peanut butter or Big Macs. It's the same thing. You want people coming back to buy more. And it's cold-blooded as hell. It's terrible. It's terrible. And people need to see that. They really need to. They say, you know what? They have to go back to governing themselves again. Yeah, Lord Humungus. Yeah, Reagan was a Bohemian Grove member. Nixon was there. Stephen Harper was there. Just about everybody who's anybody has been at that place, whether they were there as a bemused spectator or they were actually, committed to the owl god or whatever. Yeah. There are certain things that people in the highest echelons of power are involved in, and you have to go through certain initiation to get to that level. So in that regard, yeah, okay, I could see, all right, you've got this shadow government that bestrides the world, but it still comes down to the reason they operate in the shadows is because, and I've said this before, if it came out into the open, they're dead meat. It's open. They're going to hang from the lampposts. And people are starting to see it, and I think they're starting to get a little bit scary. I think they're starting to get a little bit nervous. I don't have no idea what Angela Merkel was shaking so badly about the other day when she was meeting with the new president of Ukraine, but she didn't look real happy. But mind you, these people aren't young either. Maybe they're just getting to the point where this is just getting tiresome.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Hillary Clinton. Well, when was this lady go away?
Yeah, well, as I've mentioned before, I don't think she has a choice. They've got so much money into her. She knows where so many bodies are buried, literally and figuratively, of course. I don't really know if she's having people whacked. The circumstantial evidence suggests that the same things that happened to JFK have happened to a lot of other people. I don't know if you've ever read that story, but there's 12 or 13 people that were directly involved one way or another in that JFK event, shall we say, who wound up dead within a couple of years. It's like Stalin said, no man, no problem. You just take people out. It happens all the time. That level of power has got to corrupt absolutely. And it creates situations where, sometimes people have to be liquidated or their lives have to be ruined to try to shut them up, or they get sent to prison on trumped up charges. But these things are as old as humanity. These things happen all the time. It isn't anything. It is sinister and it is evil, but it's not particularly shocking. This happens all the time. Power. The best people in the world are not the ones running the world. You don't get to that level of power unless you're a little bit psycho. Sad to say, but and that's not even all their fault, because you've got to make some really, really ugly decisions when you're in that in that situation. When Trump found out that it could kill 150 people to retaliate for that drone, he said, "No, we're not doing that." So does that make him a hero or a pacifist or anything? It could have just been a cold-blooded calculation. No, that's too much. That's a bad look. It could have been straight politics, but the reality is there are a couple hundred people in Iran who are alive tonight because the U.S. president said, "You ain't worth killing over this." You know what, man? I'll take that.
So I got Merkel here shaking.
Yeah, there was.
Look how windy it is.
It's windy, and they were playing Deutschland über alles, and that's the thing that people were pointing out. They're playing the German national anthem, and she's getting mad about her getting shaky or something. I don't know. She's not a German patriot, that's for sure. And that's a problem too. We have it with Trudeau here. You have it in a lot of countries. Is you have people running these nations that are obviously not patriotic Brits or Belgians or Swedes or Canadians. Like they're on a different planet entirely. And the fact is, most of these people, they do live in a different planet. They live inside those beltways. They can't relate to us. Most of them don't have kids. At least Trudeau has kids. He's got something to think about. Merkel doesn't have kids. Theresa May, I don't think had kids. I think the Prime Minister of Sweden, there's all kinds of people. Like they don't have the kind of investment in the future that so many, even royal families. I mean, they have children and they want to pass the family business on to the next generation, just like you probably do, Mike, or like I do. Like you need, it's the loss of humanity. And I think, ironically enough, that began in the Age of Enlightenment. The idea of human potential, but when it was coupled with nationalism, industrialization, the formation of corporations, which even in the beginning were fairly benign. It wasn't
yes,
that.
Yes, they were. Because remember, the ultimate goal for the corporation is the bottom line. That's all that matters, remember?
That's right. But the original ones were set up just strictly as a shell company to accomplish a certain task, and then they'd be done. This is how they raised the money for the railroads. They set up these railroad corporations, and then you would build the line, and then the thing would basically be done at that point. But it became practical to run them as businesses, and from that point on, we got more and more and more of them. It's just a whole bunch of things that seem to have arisen out of that time and that particular zeitgeist, for lack of a better term. And we're still kind of living with it now. And now it's a complete free-for-all. And the problem with a free-for-all is you've got people in the shadows with a lot of money that are sending these freaks at us from every direction, constantly trying to disrupt this. But it's been the same old game for 100 years. And it's getting to the point that they're telling you exactly what they're going to do. And now people are saying, no, you're not. We're not going to let you do this. You can go ahead and try to impose it on us. But no, we're not going to play. It hasn't come to real violent resistance yet, but it's never not come to violent resistance. So either they start throttling back and get serious about trying to create some stability rather than just constantly disrupting it to make money and gain power, or they're going to be removed and replaced with people who will, which may also be an ugly outcome. But that happens too.
We got Zombie Apocalypse. Gary said nothing. No. There was one he brought up here. Yeah. It's all a game that people are waking up to. That's why they are doubling down on the social justice warrior stuff, now trying to push everyone against each other.
Yeah, that's right. There's actually a book by a gentleman, it goes by the name of Vox Day. He wrote a couple books about SJWs. The first one was SJWs always lie, which they do. It's all just BS, and they push it on you. The idea with a lie is it's kind of like the old shell game, or a con game where somebody comes in and they kind of hold your attention with, up front while somebody picks your pocket. Mm-hmm. And it's the same idea. The other book he wrote was called SJWs Always Double Down. And that's what happens. The thing about progressivism is, and it's become such a cult, is the idea that it's inevitable. They have to make you believe that it's inevitable, that all of these things have happened, even in the last 50 years, Mike, are inevitable, that they're unguided and they're perfectly natural, and it's just the natural evolution of society, and anybody who opposes it is a backwards dinosaur and the wrong side of history, and it's crap. It's absolute crap. All of this has been imposed on us. Nobody voted for any of this.
Nope.
It's
Nobody
never
voted for
been
any
on
of
a
this
ballot.
crap. You know,
It's
it
never,
reminds me
never
of
been on a ballot.
the homeless or that guy on the corner there that I saw the other day. He said it like this: "It's a bunch of garbage."
Yeah. Well, it is. It is garbage, and it's just up to this point with control of the media and obviously control, if only passively through donations, okay, of politicians, right? Because you got people that are pulling down a couple $100K a year, and they're all multi-millionaires. Well, obviously they're getting some cheese out of it, right? And they've got a dependence on it.
Right. That's the key, dependence,
Yeah.
and that's a huge problem, right? If it was a one-off, it'd be tougher to keep it hinged, but because it's dependent and it keeps going, people want to buy everything. People want to consume, and even the biggest top dogs are, I don't know. It's this whirlwind of spiral that's funneling out of control, and they can't get us. They can't get us. It's almost like, who do we put in? Who do we get in? Who should we trust? Who do we front? Who do we get to front? I think every province and every state should break up into smaller, like little countries, and let people like run their own areas, their own police, their own. What do you think?
I think that it would be better. The problem is, of course, the bigger ones are going to bully the smaller ones, like always happens. So they would all have to be heavily armed. I mean, they would have to be like Switzerland to get them all to agree to live in peace. I mean, look at Confederation in Canada. Like it's actually originally it was a fairly loose thing, but the growth of the federal government, especially since the World Wars, the Depression and the World Wars, they've just taken more and more power, and now we're being ruled by this absolutely unaccountable Laurentian elite that doesn't know anything about the life of somebody in, Red Deer or in, Regina or whatever, and they don't care. They just don't care. And up to this point, they haven't had to. They see it as them imposing or carrying the torch and imposing the original vision of their parents and their grandparents' generation. But people are getting wise to it. And it's getting to the point where you're going to have resistance. I think that even if all of the politicians were controlled, Mike, then that means elections don't change anything. But what it will change is the direction that they go, because an election in that case is still a poll. Mm-hmm. Basically, the people are saying, okay, well, we'll tolerate this, but not that. Okay, well, we've gone far enough with that, so we'll change direction and go this way. You can't continually oppose the electorate and expect to get what you want.
Right.
Like sooner or later they get thrown out, and okay, now we got to rebuild the mound again, right? The thing with Trump, he's probably trying to set up his own American political dynasty. He's got the bucks to do it, and he's had 40 years in that swamp, just being a real estate developer in New York. Good Lord, and he knows where the bodies are buried too, at least figuratively, right? So a guy like that, yeah, he's a bastard, but he's our bastard. That's kind of the idea, you know what I mean? It's the concentration of power is the biggest problem. The size of the nation itself, that economy of scale is a good thing. It keeps prices low. It gives us the supply chain that we have. You can still, even now, as bad as things are, as stressed out as everybody gets about it, you can still go down to the grocery store and get whatever you want. For the most part, if you're working. If you're not working, you have a problem, but the likelihood is you probably need to move somewhere else, go where the work is. That's easier said than done. The thing about a place like Canada, it's not quite like America. There's communities in America that have been there for 400 years. You can't just tell those people, oh, well, you gotta pick up from North Carolina and go move to, South Dakota and work in the oil patch, if you've been farming tobacco or cotton for 300 or 400 years. It's a tough sell.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I think it's the red tape, the masking tape, the jurisdiction, the bureaucracy. Like, I'll give you a little example, okay?
Sure.
Let's say I have a nice piece of land, over by a creek, and I start mining gold there, for example. There's so much red tape, apparently, if you're mining gold like regularly, they actually deem it as illegal.
Yeah, well, the theory is that any mineral wealth on the land belongs to the crown.
Right. So, I mean, like, it's gotten to let's say that's the law. Let's say that. But they don't enforce these laws. Like 50, 60 years ago, people wouldn't enforce these laws. They wouldn't care, right?
No, they were lackadaisical. The laws themselves weren't that oppressive. There may be a few things that you had to look after, but it's gotten to be more and more because you've always got a department that wants more money. If you've read anything, I read a little bit about Wellington when he was running the British Army during the Peninsular War. The kind of bureaucracy that he had to deal with, like in early 1800s, the UK, was ridiculous. Like, it was absolutely unbelievable, the kind of bureaucratic trouble he had to go through just to try to fight a war. So these things come and go. Eventually they get chopped, they get weeded out, or sometimes technologies change and then a whole bunch of things just don't matter anymore.
Right.
Where mining is concerned, if you're panning for gold, you got to have a. If you don't have a claim, you have no business pulling gold out of a creek. It belongs to somebody else. If it doesn't belong to the crown, it probably belongs to somebody else. So, and that comes down to property rights, and you got to have those. They're a basis of prosperity.
Aren't property rights down the barrel of a shotgun? Well,
they should be. But those shotguns are supposed to be protecting us, regardless of whether we own them or whether the government owns them. That was the idea. Yeah, Christian Worthington. Sorry, buddy. I got a long chat going here, but
no, you're our fourth caller, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't be shy, man. Get on the phone.
Yeah, I'm trying to find G-Man. I can't find G-Man here. Somebody else wants to come on the show. I can't find G-Man.
Yeah, what's going on?
It's saying he's telling me I got to go to my friend's contacts. I can't. I don't see it. I don't. Yeah, I'm having a tough time finding it, right? So, yeah. I'm sorry. There's just so many people on my Skype. It's really hard to manage at times,
Yeah, guys, message Mike on your Skype if you're going to call in, or if you're even just thinking about calling in sometime. Let him know what your handle is on here so that he can find you, or change the handle on your Skype, one or the other.
Yeah, just so I know who it is. Like Nick Mavanowski, he's always commenting, right? Briggs. If Briggs makes a Skype account, make it Briggs. So I know it's you. You know what I'm saying? You still there, Supreme?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, so I know who is who and what is what, and so I know who to. I know what topic they're on. If it's trends in the housing market, or are you going to talk about? Are we talking about the death of the pension? Are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? I usually give people a few days notice on what Mike and the Night's going to be about.
Yeah, well, that helps so that they're ready. They can call in, they can read an article, or they can share. I mean, everything I'm doing right now, stream of consciousness. I read way too much, but and there's things I've said I'm sure that people disagree with, and that's just fine. Get on the phone.
Yeah, get on the phone, call.
Get on here. Let's do it.
Yep, let's rock and roll, buddy.
Yeah. Totally. So anyway, to sum up, I think the one event that changed humanity for the worse was the Age of Enlightenment. I mean, there were good things came out of it too. This is the best of times and the worst of times, like that old Charles Dickens novel. Okay, but there were a lot of things about freedom itself and humanity that have been really, really eroded, and I think a lot of people are sick of it. Yeah. I know I am. And I'm ready for some things to start rolling back. This is not progress anymore. This is retarded. This is ridiculous. It's got to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. The following you're listening to is rated R for retarded.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But, okay, Supreme, I appreciate you unloading here with us, giving us this valuable information.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anytime.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you said you were going to come down and visit me today, but then you got... sidetracked.
Oh, the weather sucked, man. It was just raining and thundering and everything here. And last time I came to see you, it was raining so hard in the Coquihalla. 10 minutes out of Kamloops, I saw 3 cars on their roof within a kilometer of each other. They must have just been a gully washer come down and hydroplaned them, and they put them on their roof. Yeah, it was just a wrecking derby. So I thought, I'll make it another day. The good weather's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
But let me know if you need a hand moving anything, and I'll bring the 1 ton.
Oh, no. I'm moving across the street.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Oh, you use a shopping cart for that.
Yeah, we're going to go lift a few shopping carts down the street and put them back at night and just...
Good deal.
Yeah, and all my racks are on wheels.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to come and hang out and help me cut... and when I say cut, when I'm painting, I hate cutting the ceiling.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, I could give it a shot, but I'm not an expert at it either,
I
man.
hate cutting. But I don't mind if you want to... Do you know how to frame?
Oh, I can swing a hammer. I can help.
Yeah, because I want to frame down the windows a bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's not real high tech. We could figure that out.
Okay. All right, then. Supreme, thanks so much for taking your time to talk to us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. No problem at all. God bless everyone, and we'll talk soon, Mike.
Thanks, brother. Bye.
Okay, bye for now.
And that is Supreme Canon. Guys, I'm getting really tired. Lately, I've been sleeping. I don't know what it is or how, or I don't know if it's the change in my diet. I've been sleeping very well lately. I've been sleeping babies don't sleep this good. I don't know. But, yeah, AB Field, you should get on Skype, message me. Hold on, someone just messaged me right now. Sulla Dexter. Okay, here we go. We got Sulla Dexter. Hey, Mike. I'd like to call in. I'm 19. I live in Ontario, and I think one of the biggest events that changed the world is the invention of the television. All right, one last guest. Okay, he's unavailable. All right. It says here, let me see what he says here. He's unavailable. Okay. But he lives in Ontario, and the problem is Ontario is 11, 12, 1. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing up 2 o'clock in the morning listening to Mike in the Night? Yep. Put my kid in one for a bit. What's going on? Yes, Lord Humungus said it right. I could hang out with Supreme Canon and talk for hours on end. He is very intelligent in history. Oh yeah, big time. Big time. Yeah. 3 Right Guy says, I'm awake, Mike. All right, let's get him on. Where is he? Where is he? Let's get Leaf on. Hope he's doing okay. Leaf?
Oh, geez, I gotta turn off Discord.
How are you, my brother?
Not too bad.
Yeah, I'm starting to fall asleep here, bud. It's only 10:46, but I don't know why, but I'm kind of wiped, buddy.
I'm a night vampire. I guess you would be after all the drama, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I decided it's just time to move on. Like, I'm not gonna feed the trolls anymore. You're not gonna feed the trolls anymore. And if people want to post my address on YouTube, go ahead. I don't care. You know, if that makes you happy, if that makes somebody happy, go ahead and do it. I don't care.
Well, it was probably a matter of time. If it wasn't for the fact that these idiots accelerated, you were to probably get doxxed eventually, anyways.
Yeah.
Because you did those home projects, right? That was, but it is what it is. There's nothing you can really do about it.
Who cares? You know what my wife does when she sees that stuff like that? She laughs her ass off.
Well, they're not aware that it's getting you more views in the long run. So
yeah, she laughs. She goes, it's merit. Pick up a phone book. You can find me. Go to 411 reverse. You could find me.
There you go.
You know, who cares? You know, I'm not feeding the trolls anymore. I'm done. Now I'm being accused of things I've never done. It's like, you know what? Go to hell.
One event that changed humanity for the worse.
What's the first domino?
I don't know if it was worse. I was gonna say the atom bomb, but within that context, it doesn't sound too right. But it did change everything. It changed the paradigm.
What about something positive? What about the invention of penicillin?
It's been overused. We have super diseases now.
But it saved a lot of lives, though, bud.
This is true, but it's also a double-edged blade, right? Now we have immune bacteria.
Yeah, you told me about that the other day.
Hola.
Yeah, you brought up the Ebola the other day, too.
I know.
So what else? What key events? Do you think JFK was big enough, pinnacle? Do you think World War I, the Great Bankers' Wars, that basically laid the law, or basically...
Oh, I have one.
What is it?
Oh, yes. The, it was the Battle of what? What was it? The battle... You used World War I. The Battle of, what was Napoleon's last battle? Let me look it up right now. Waterloo, was it?
Oh, yes. The Battle of Waterloo was huge. When
and what banking family built their entire
the Red
stake?
Shield?
They built their entire power base on that single event.
The Red Shield.
The Rothschild family. That's where they made all their wealth.
Yeah.
They
bet on Napoleon. Basically, they went back. Somebody hurried back to say that Napoleon ended up winning the war, and then everyone started to sell their stocks, and they bought him up.
Even though it was a lie.
Huh?
Even though it was a lie.
Yep.
So he convinced everyone to sell all of their stocks on the exchange. While he knew that Napoleon had actually lost, he fabricated the news that came in that he had won. He bought the entire country on basically pennies on the dollar.
Yep, pence, or what do you call them? Pence, or back in the day.
That built the Rothschild family.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that was a really good point. That was a really good key pivot move. That was a really good point. Now, let's fabricate something a bit, okay? What if that guy that raced back, horse, ended up dying or breaking a leg? Imagine where history would be today if that was the case. That would have been. That would have been incredible, eh?
It'd probably be a little bit off better, I would assume. But I don't want to go too deep into the Rothschild family on your show.
Yeah. No. I'm saying. I mean,
it's butterfly effect. One little thing can change it all.
Yeah, I think that would be an awesome, like, choose your own adventure type movie. Like, I wish they would make movies like that where choose your own reality.
They have one on Netflix, actually.
Oh, really? Choose your own reality?
Yeah. It was like the first of its kind. Let's look at the name real quick. Or wait, I'm just gonna Google it.
I gotta start Netflixing once in a while.
Choose your own.
Oh, someone said butterfly effect.
Yes, but that's not what. Yeah, Netflix's Black Mirror Choose Your Own Adventure. If you Google that right now, it'll actually show you it. And then they kind of break the third wall, but it's interesting. Want to go watch that with the missus later or something? That'd be a little bit fun. It's weird. But they actually came out with your Choose Your Own movie, basically. It's the same concept as Choose Your Own storybook.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, they were already a huge banking concern, but they got even more powerful during that period. That exact pivotal moment in history is when shit got really lopsided.
Yeah. Interesting. But that was a really good point you brought up at the end of the show like this. That was really huge. That I thought of that earlier today when I was in the shower. I was thinking about that. What was that guy's name? Do they even know who that guy was? Is that guy completely topsy-turvy, completely changed history? That one man that raced back from that war, that battlefield to
there was
bring
the War
the
of
news.
Independence. There was the War for Independence that career too.
Yeah, that was a big. The battle. Yeah, in 17. You talking about 1776?
Some average Joe basically changed all of world history. It's just some regular dude. carrying some papers.
Yeah. Interesting. Man, I'm falling asleep, dog. What are you doing awake so late?
I'm a night vampire. It's just how I am.
Yeah, I know. I sometimes I just jump on Skype or something and I see you on. It's like, what the hell are you doing, dog?
Well, it's just me. Do we have anything in Canadian politics? Like, we got Andrew Scheer coming.
Uh-huh.
What's your thoughts on Scheer? I really don't like him personally.
I've taken five steps back from the Canadian politics right now because it's so depressing.
Like, I know Andrew Scheer's gonna flip things, but he's just so bland and boring. Like, I'd trade him in for any other conservative leader at this point. And he also has a special little speech pattern that's like Trudeau, where he answers his questions like robot.
That's so cute.
That's why I hate Scheer the most, is the moment he starts talking like a robot. Mm-hmm. He's like Trudeau right-wing version, basically. And I just find it really dishonest when politicians do that. Actually, I hate all the politicians that dumb down everything.
Well, Supreme prefers Bernier, but not Scheer.
Bernier. I haven't looked up too much into the Canadian politics. Like you said, it's just really boring and depressing.
Oh, he says, I prefer Bernier, but Scheer needs to... I don't care. You know what? I live in this country. I don't even follow the politics from here for a good while. I understand what's happening in the background. I just don't want to get involved anymore. It's depressing. It's builds boring. Hope. It builds hope, and then false hope. And then you just don't want to... Then you just go back to, oh, they lied to us again. It's like we're getting so sensitized to lying so much that it's almost to a point where I just don't follow the whole political scene. I like watching Donald Trump and his speeches and stuff like that. I like watching Nicolas Maduro and his speeches and listening to the whole socialist type speeches. I like listening to these people.
You know why you don't hate it when you're hearing those leftists? Because it's not really that they're left or right or socialist or not. It's the fact that some of these politicians on the populist end of the spectrum, be it right and left, they're actually authentic. Versus someone like Scheer, who's a career politician, traditional career one, talks like a robot and does stuff like that. People can hate Trump and all that, but at least he's authentic. And people know it to a certain degree. He's at least authentic on how he gives his speeches. There's no teleprompter in the background, right?
Yeah, Nick Mavoiskoy says, our problems do not have political solutions. That's 100% on the money right there.
I don't know if I agree with that 100%, though. But I also don't want to talk about those problems and how they'd be fixed, because it's not really, it's just what it is.
Yeah, we're in a position right now where we don't even know where to take things anymore, or what we're allowed to say anymore on specific platforms. But
I made a mega video.
Is different, right?
And they nuked my channel for that. It wasn't even spicy, really.
I know. I saw the video. It's still on Facebook, though.
Yeah, but the fact that they nuked my entire YouTube account for that was insane.
I know.
It's crazy what they're doing these days.
Yeah, it's putting people. I know. I'm at that position right now where if they were to decide to nuke my channel, I mean, I would miss all my, everybody and all that stuff. But, I do. You know why I do YouTube? It's so therapeutic to do YouTube, to get it out there, to kind of take it off. And can I tell you why, Leaf, I do YouTube? Because I believed in the original YouTube model where express yourself. Remember? YouTube, express yourself. Remember that?
I don't, but I do remember Google saying that their slogan since its inception was "Don't be evil," and then they changed it a year ago.
Well, I'm talking about YouTube broadcast yourself, right? And that was like 8, 9, 10 years ago. That's how they basically how do you say advertise themselves, was called broadcast yourself. Be yourself, be you.
I think I remember broadcast yourself.
Yeah, that was almost a decade ago, maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago. Now, I broadcasted myself. I built a platform. We speak. We talk. I created my own. We created our own model here, right? And then now it's like, oh, we don't want you now.
It's catering to all these pearl grabbers. That's the issue, and it's going to basically kill the site eventually. Is what's going to happen. In India right now, they already turned off comments by default.
Whoa, in India, they what?
They turned off comments by default. This was recent, and it's all these pearl grabbers. It's corporate, man. The mainstream media is trying to transition into the digital platform, and YouTube only cares about their advertisers. In reality, and you'd think it was the other way around, Facebook has less censorship. They'll actually push very inappropriate content, and they'll push it out the door first over normal content. It's like what I said before. These companies are profiting off of extremism and creating echo chambers, but to a degree, they're pushing off all the smaller content creators to get them out of the way for the pearl grabbers. The pearl grabbers being the advertisers and the corporations that want to put it on their ads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, YouTube is becoming more and more corporate. This was the whole thing between PewDiePie and T-Series. In reality, it was the old-fashioned content creator, the individual, the normal average Joe fighting off the corporate. And when PewDiePie eventually, he lost, that was it in a lot of people's eyes.
I have a question to ask you. Are you on Minds yet?
I don't use Minds. I use BitChute for the upload, but I don't even, like, after they nuked my channel yesterday, I don't even know if I'll be really doing this YouTube stuff. It's really, after putting so much time into a video and all that, and takes about so much time learning and getting everything done and putting in all the tags and everything, it's really, it's off-putting to even bother.
Yeah, you get kind of like discouraged.
Yeah, so, there's that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I like to have you on Minds, because Minds is pretty much kind of the Wild West, right? And they pay you in cryptocurrency.
Oh, I know fully about Minds. I fully know about Steam, and I fully know about BitChute. I fully know about Gap. I know all about all these places. But I'm also off-put. I know you like Minds, but I'm also off-put on the idea of these internet ghettos. What I do want is, I want Google to be regulated. I want it to be pushed into a corner and said you can either be a platform or you can be a publisher. Because when you censor people, you are acting in as a publisher. You're not acting as a platform. And I'm tired of this Mickey Mouse, these tech companies playing the Mickey Mouse game on what side that they think they're like, oh, well, today it feels convenient to be a publisher, but then we're going to go back to being a platform. And the difference between a platform and a publisher is a platform, you're held liable for what you say on the platform as the individual, not the platform. So the platform has immunity, but when you act as a publisher, censorship, you are now a publisher. And as a publisher, if you have someone publishing outlandish content that could, the publisher is held liable. But the point of the matter is, you can't censor on a platform at the same time as acting as a publisher. That's how the law is written. So we need to update our laws, and there needs to be regulation. And I think that's what Trump's going to be running on the next election. That's if this Ebola stuff doesn't break out to the point where then if the Ebola stuff breaks out, it's around the world, people are going to be getting elected on closing the borders.
Mm-hmm.
I would at least hope so.
I'm just on YouTube here, and I'm looking at what's trending. Oh my god! I made a giant mozzarella stick and onion rings. Norman, I don't know what this is.
Stupidity. It's idiocracy is what's occurring.
Seth and Rihanna go drinking. You'll never guess he's actually hiding in plain sight.
Looking at the YouTube trending section is almost as depressing as looking at normal people on Facebook who are unpolitically educated and make comments on political natured stuff.
Well, that's why I don't even go.
It's just
I
a
don't
giant
even
black
go there
pill.
anymore. I haven't been on Facebook in a long time. I go from time to time when my wife tags me on there, and I go like the photo and stuff like that. But a pastry chef attempts to make gourmet starburst. She makes a cake out of starburst. What to eat for 24 hours. Melting every lipstick from the drugstore together. What is this garbage?
That's exactly what it is. It's garbage. It's you know what? It's it's nothing. That's what it is. It provides you nothing. It's like watching cartoons basically. It's just cancer for the brain.
Yeah. All right, Leaf, I'm gonna go to bed. I don't know why, I'm just so slosh tired.
Mind-numbing content, that's what it is.
I'm tired, dog. I don't know. Today I was good. And then once 6 o'clock hit, I got a bit tired. Then I played around with the kids we took the drone outside. We played around a bit outside for a little bit.
You have to register those nouns, don't you?
Oh, no, this is a pocket drone. This thing doesn't go higher than 4 feet.
Oh.
It's just something I bought for my son so he could destroy it.
You ever go fishing?
I'm going to start taking my son fishing maybe next year when he's 6, when he's a little bit bigger. I'll start taking him because I really don't want to get hooked. I really don't want to get hooked in the ear with a hook.
You know how to obviously do all the gutting the fish, all that jazz, right?
I know how to fish. I know how to. I can find flint and rocks if I have to. I've been around.
Cool. Do you know the fishing spots in Merritt? I'm not aware of them.
Oh, there's like a lake a day here, bud.
The best fishing spot, the best time to go fishing is the Veta Ritter in Chilliwack during the salmon run. You just literally plank your rod in and plank it out.
Yep. Oh no, of course. But I'm saying like for me here, it's a lake a day, and we got a couple of rivers. So there's everywhere around here. I mean, anywhere you go in any direction for X amount of time, you hit water.
Yeah, I love fish steaks.
All right.
All right, I'll let you go for tonight.
Yeah, bud. It's the 2-hour mark here, bud. Yeah, give me a call sometime maybe Monday, Tuesday when you get some time.
Yeah, sure. You can always just message me on Skype. Usually I'll get to the message eventually.
Okay, you take care of yourself now.
Ciao for now, Mike.
Ciao. That's my man, Leif. Man, I'm tired. Okay, guys, some pretty good ones. So tonight's show was what was the biggest, what went wrong? Where did it all go wrong? What was the biggest event? And if you're watching this on replay, comment below. Let me know what the biggest event in your opinion was that changed everything. That one for the Waterloo one was a big one. When that guy dashed back to lie, to drop the markets. That was a big one. And Supreme Canon said Enlightenment Age. What's his name? Not the Crow. What's his name? Man, I'm so out of it, man, right now. The Raven. I call him the Crow. The Raven said it was the creation of the Federal Reserve. I mean, we got all kinds of good callers in tonight. And, yeah. Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction. Oh, guys. Okay, guys. I want to thank you for joining me tonight on Mike in the Night. Internet's, I don't know what's wrong with this damn thing. It's going back in and out, in and out. It's not moving too much. Anyways, guys, I'll throw up a trailer. I'll throw up a trailer of my new series that's going to come out in the next week and a half. I really look forward to putting something together for you guys. And okay, we want a Bitcoin show next. Sure, I'll see if I can get Chris Green from ANTV on the show to tell us about Bitcoin and what he thinks. Facebook crypto show next week. Yeah, we could talk about all cryptos and cryptocurrencies. I'll see if I can get that professional on that I had on, that crypto guy. And we could talk about where things are headed. I'm no crypto. I got to start, I guess, taking it in and sinking it in, I guess. Or, yeah. I think we're going to have to do that. I think I'm going to have to do that now. Okay, guys, don't forget to hit me up on minds.com. And if you want to donate a token, tokens are free, so you get them for free. So if you want to donate a token, if you donate 6 tokens, you could send me an article and I'll read it for you on my channel. Give you my opinion. I'm on Subscribestar. I want to thank my 7 Patreon supporters for buying me coffee. And if you want to join the family, we have tiers from Soldier, Captain, Consigliere, and Underboss. Come and join the family. be part of this. I talk to a lot of my Patreon members in the background all the time. And yeah, I'm done. I'm going to bed. And if you're just joining us, back it up. Yep, Banker Wars, World War One. Yep. Cy Sharp, I brought up World War One. I think World War One is the biggest pre-planned banking war organization that basically laid the roots for everything that right up to Vietnam, right up to the JFK's, like everything just spindled out of control from that World War One, and then putting power in the hands of dividing countries, and it was just a nightmare. Anyways, guys, Mike in the Night, thanks for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks, Supreme Canon, Low Roller Scratcher, Leaf, everybody in the comments. Abfield, Low Roller Scratcher, Lord Humungus. I keep saying it over and over again, the same names. Christian Worthington there. Thank you for coming on. W. Pitzels. Who else? Zombie Apocalypse Gary. James Deegan here. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night. And if you want to support the transmission at the most basic level, just go ahead and share a video. Thanks for watching, guys.